Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, to GMS, to Ruel. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing his word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping his word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I want to do a quick lesson on this YouTube short where it's entitled Daddy, Voice, Power, and Baby. You know, basically going to the power of a man's voice and how it disciplines his children, or in effect, get them to obey. And then I'm gonna show a similar to in the scriptures where the Heavenly Father did this to the nation of Israel, and how it got that instant respect, you know. And this just goes to show that the people of this world are starting to understand, especially over here in Babylon the Great, they're starting to understand how important men really are, especially when it comes to raising children. You know, that man is the cornerstone. He, you know, the foundation for the family. Just like Yahweh Shai is the foundation for us, you know, us men that's in this truth, or the nation as a whole. He is that foundation. You know, the same, and especially us in this ministry, it's the same way for a man and his for his family. So I'm gonna play the YouTube short. Let me get a couple of these comments, because the comments is what led me to bring up the precepts from the scriptures. And I got ChatGPT on standby as well. So Lord will is edifying. This is fair use, fair use, fair use. Not using your video to make any money. This is strictly for educational purposes, bringing out biblical truth. Fair use.
Sit down.
Yun.
Be quiet.
You're sick. No.
Lay down, be quiet. I'm gonna put you down. Yeah.
Get off of it.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey! Okay, who's not listening? I'll get him.
Lay down.
Hey, go lay down.
Down.
Dro, down.
See? This is what happens.
Get up.
Yeah, let's go.
Sit down. Babe.
What's all that fuzz?
Lay down.
That was the end of it. But I'm gonna play this one.
Sit down. Sit down.
Yun.
That one was especially, I think it was this one.
Sick. No.
Lay down, be quiet.
And then this one for sure. This one right here.
Of it.
Hey!
Yeah.
You can see her jump. But look at the comments. It said, you know, this is why it's important to have both parents. Dad's voice is like thunder to a child. And that's the script. That's the one that made me think like, oh yeah. Yeah, I know exactly where that come from. Somebody said mommy's voice sounds like love and daddy's voice sounds like discipline. It says the bass in the father's voice commands attention. Exactly what children of all ages need in their lives, a father who is present. It says for me it was the opposite. Yeah. Dads have that powerful voice. It says, oh yeah, I read that too. When dad was at work, they said mom was definitely queen and we listened to her, which there are no queens. But I get what they trying to say. Mom was an authority. You know, she was the authoritative figure. None of this wait till dad gets home, because the mom supports the father. If the father has certain rules in his household that he wants upholding, it's the wife's duty to make sure those are upholding when he's not around. You know, even when he is around, she's going to support him in whatever decision he makes. It's not a thing of y'all are against each other, because children will develop. They will develop, they'll try to be sneaky. They'll ask mom, or they'll ask dad, and then turn around and ask mom. And if they give mixed, different answers, then it gives the child the go ahead, to do whatever they want to do. But it's not supposed to be like that. The woman is supposed to she's supposed to support whatever that man say, whatever he say go. Now that's that. Somebody else said exactly why children need a father in the home. Dads are needed in every single home. They are the strong disciplinary that kids need to get through life. Moms are softies. And see, people are understanding that. But, and I ain't gonna say that people didn't understand it a couple years ago, but a few years ago, especially when feminism was rolling around, women wasn't saying this. They wasn't saying this as prevalent as they're saying it now. It says kids become immune to mom's voice. Dad's voice is a force. It shakes them up a bit. We all need both parents, a mom and a dad. It's simple, which is true. When mom talks with a stern voice, they listen. But see, it's not about that. It's about a man. So everybody's saying that masculine energy, the bass in their voice. Oh yeah, dad's demanding voice touched that baby with the Christmas tree soul. Right, and that's exactly what happened. You can see her get shooken up.
Hey!
Yeah.
You see, and she walk away from it. Let me get the scripture real quick. This is Exodus. Now I got the I hope it don't delete. I got the ChatGPT conversation up, and sometimes they be deleting, but Lord will it doesn't. So this is Exodus chapter 19. I'm gonna start at verse 10. As a matter of fact, let me see how many verses it is. I'm gonna read down on it. Yeah, I start at 10. Exodus 19:10 AMP. Then the Lord also said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. That is, prepare them for my sacred purpose and have them wash their clothes and be ready by the third day. Because on the third day, the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the cloud, which is a chariot, in the sight of all the people. You should set barriers for the people all around the mountain, saying, beware that you do not go up on the mountain or touch its border. Whoever touches the border must be put to death. No hand shall touch him. That is, no one shall try to save the guilty party, but the offender must be stoned or shot through with arrows. And see, the Lord, he didn't play. The Lord said he didn't play. He said you got to be, in the KJV, it said or shot through, which we know is talking about arrows, but he said you got to be shot, Whether man or animal that touches the mountain, he shall not live. When the ram's horn sounds a long blast, they shall come up to the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified them for the Most High's sacred purpose, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be prepared for the third day. Do not be intimate with a woman. Or in the KJV, come not at your wives, meaning don't have sex with your wives. And as you can see, it says woman in the AMP, but wives in the KJV, letting you know woman and wives is synonymous. A wife is a woman. A woman is a wife. And women are, wives, women, they're supposed to be servants to their husbands. It's all synonymous. It says, so it happened on the third day when it was morning, there were thunder and flashes of lightning, and a thick cloud was on the mountain, which is a chariot. And a very loud blast was sounded on the ram's horn, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet the Most High, and they stood and presented themselves at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended up like smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked violently. And it happened at the blast of a ram's horn grew louder and louder. Moses spoke, and the Most High answered him with a voice of thunder. That's exactly what that comment said, a voice of thunder. Dad's voices are like thunder to children. So that's how the Lord's voice was to us, when he spoke. So it was like thunder. That's how it feels. That's how it sounds to a child. The voice came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. And the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and he went up. Then the Lord spake to Moses, go down, warn the people, so that they do not break through the barriers around the mountain to the Lord to see me. And many of them perished as a result. Also, have the priests who approach the Lord consecrate, sanctify, set apart themselves for my sacred purpose, or else the Lord will break forth in judgment against them and destroy them. Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai because you warned us, saying, set barriers around the mountain and consecrate it. Then the Lord said to him, go down and come up again, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through the barriers to come up to the Lord, or he will break forth in judgment against them and destroy them. So Moses went down to the people and told them about the Most High's warning. Now it continues on in chapter 20. Then the Most High spake all these words. I am the Lord your God, who has brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, or the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol, or any likeness, form, manifestation of what is in heaven, or on the earth beneath, or in the water under the earth, as an object to worship, or graven image. You shall not worship them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous, it's an passionate God, demanded what is rightfully and uniquely mine, visiting and avenging the iniquity, sin, and guilt of the fathers on the children, that is calling the children to account for the sins of their fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So that's what he mean by that is, well, first it said the Most High does not tolerate the transfer of the honor and worship that is due him to any other being or object. So we ain't supposed to, worship another god or object or whatever, as if it was the Most High. I mean, as if it was saving us and doing all these things the Most High is doing. Basically giving something else the credit that the Most High has done. And then he said he visits the iniquity or the judgment of the fathers on the children, going into reincarnation. When you come back in the third or fourth generation, what you did in your previous life, you're going to have to account for it in that time period when you come back on the earth. That's what the Lord is saying. It says, but showing graciousness and steadfast loving kindness to thousands of generations of those who love me and keep my commandment. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. That is, irreverently in false affirmations, or in way that impugn the character of the Most High. For the Lord will not hold guiltless, nor leave unpunished the one who takes his name in vain, disregarding its reverence and its power. It says, using the name of the Most High in a casual, frivolous way, establishes a mindset that diminishes and dishonors the omnipotent Most God. Using the name of the Most High to abuse, manipulate, or deceive invites judgment. Now it says, remember the Sabbath, which today is a Sabbath. It's a new moon. It says seventh day, to keep it holy, set apart, dedicated to the Most High. 6 days ye shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath, a day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter or your male servant or your female servant or your livestock or the temporary resident foreigner who stays within your city gates. And we can't wholeheartedly keep that right now because we're in captivity. And many of us do have to work on the Sabbath because the Sabbath alternates, every time the new month comes, it's going to land on a different day. So right now, the new moon came in last night, at sundown, Sunday sundown to Monday sundown. And now that's what's going to be the new Sabbath. And many of us do go back to work on Monday. So we'll be working during the Sabbath. Some of us got the day off because of, quote unquote Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day. But for the most part, you have to work on the Sabbath, or you may have to. It says, for in 6 days, the Lord made the heavens and earth. And that's only temporarily until the kingdom come. For in 6 days, the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and everything that is in them. And he ceased on the seventh day. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy, that is set apart for his purposes. Honor, respect, obey, and care for your father and your mother, so that your days may be long in the land the Lord your God gives you. And I'm glad I got this in another translation, because in the KJV it says thou shalt not murder, but in the AMP it says you shall not commit murder. So like it said in the KJV, thou shalt not kill, but in the AMP it says you should not commit murder, unjustly, deliberate homicide. So that's what the Lord is saying. You should not commit murder, because if it just said you should not kill, then when the Lord told us to go to war and destroy all of a certain group of people, then that'll be contradicting, but it said you should not commit murder. Now, verse 14, you should not commit adultery. It says Yahushua amplified this commandment in Matthew 5:27 and 28. Not only is adultery forbidden, but also any act of sexual impurity or unchastity or any form, I didn't even know it said that, or any form of, corn or other obscenity, You're not supposed to do that. You shall not steal secretly, openly, fraudulently, or through carelessness. You should not testify falsely, that is, lie, withhold, or manipulate the truth against your neighbor or any person. That's what it means by neighbor, any person. You should not in this case, so like it got a phone call. You should not covet, that is, selfishly desire and attempt to acquire your neighbor's house. You should not covet your neighbor's wife or his male servant or his female servant or his ox or his donkey or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Now all the people witnessed the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet and the smoking thunder. As they looked, the people were afraid and they trembled and moved backward and stood at a safe distance. And notice it said they stood at a safe distance. So they hearing all these things and they like, they bagged up. They get out the way. Then they said to Moses, you speak to us and we will listen, but do not let the Most High speak to us or we will die. And I want to get that in the the NLT. It says, and they said to Moses, you speak to us and we will listen, but don't let the Most High speak directly to us or we will die. So they already knew, like, look, we can't handle that. They couldn't handle it. That's just how a child, when they hear the voice of their father, when it's stern and and he's telling them something, they can't handle it. They straighten up real quick. Verse 20, Moses said to the people, do not be afraid, for the Most High has come in order to test you, and in order that the fear of him, that is a profound reverence for him, will remain with you, so that you do not sin. Now I got it here in ChatGPT, and I said explain Exodus 20 and 19, and it said, to paraphrase it, the people said to Moses, speak to us yourself and we will listen. Do not have the Most High speak to us or we will die. Said, what's happening in context? This verse comes right after the Most High gives the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. The Israelites have just witnessed overwhelming signs of the Most High's presence. Thunder, lightning, a loud trumpet, smoke, and the mountain shaking, which is, Exodus 20 and 18. The experience is terrifying. Meaning of the verse, fear the Most High's holiness and power. The people are not merely afraid in a casual sense. They are overwhelmed by the holiness, authority, and power of the Most High's direct voice. They believe that continued direct exposure could result in death, a common biblical theme. Recognition of human limitation. The Israelites realize that they are not prepared to encounter the Most High directly in such an intense way. Their fear reflects an awareness of their own sinfulness and frailty compared to the Most High's purity. They understood that, look, we only human. We can't handle this, on top of knowing, like I said, on top of their own behavior. And then it says Moses as mediator. By asking Moses to speak to them instead of the Most High, The people are accepting the idea of a mediator, someone who can stand between the Most High and humans. Moses becomes the the go-between who receives the Most High words and communicates them safely to the people. And this is how Yahweh Shai is. This is how he was. He is that mediator between us and the Most High. Now it says a paradox of fear and obedience. Just one verse later, which we read, verse 20, Moses explains that the Most High's fearsome display is not meant to destroy them, but to teach them reverence so they will not sin. Their fear is understandable, but the Most High's purpose is moral formation, not terror. Now it says the significance, theological significance. It highlights the transcendence of the Most High. He is not casual or tame. Let's get that word, transcendence. Transcendence, Salakia. Superiority, existence or experience beyond the normal or physical level. And like I said right here, superiority, supreme, matchlessness. So like I said, it highlights his superiority or the superiority of the Most High. It introduces the biblical pattern of meditation or mediation, Salakia, which later develops through priests, prophets, and in Christian theology, which is not Christian, but ultimately Yahweh Shai. It shows how fear can lead either to distance from the Most High or to obedient reverence, depending on how it's understood. So in simple terms, the people are saying the Most High is too powerful and holy for us to hear directly. Please, Moses, talk to the Most High for us so we don't die. And that's how it is. Like I said, the Heavenly Father, he did it first, But we only are seeing just, from that video YouTube short, that's how it is for children. But with the Most High, it's on a whole nother level. We weren't ready for that at that time. But it's going to be, man, look, Yahweh Shai is coming back with the whole heavenly host of angels, and it's gonna be on another level. And you thought we couldn't handle it. Now the whole world finna have to experience it. Meaning all nations are finna experience this, and they all finna be terrified. Everybody finna be terrified, but the elect is gonna be delivered. They're gonna be saved, and elect is gonna be rejoicing, even though it's gonna be still terrifying, because it's something that nobody in history had ever experienced. The time of the day of the Lord and his return. Thermonuclear missiles flying. Jacob's trouble had just, you survived Jacob's trouble and all the judgments. And now the chariots are here, shooting laser beams. Like I said, the destruction here. It's a time that nobody has ever experienced on the earth. And the elect are going to be delivered from it. So the elect is going to be rejoicing, but it's still going to be a terrifying time. Meanwhile, the non-elect and the rest of the nations, they're going to be overwhelmingly terrified by all of this, when the day of Yahweh Shai's return. So, Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. Just wanted to speak on that. And on that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. And until next time, shalom.